YouTube, it's Will from Will Development, and this is my 230th weekly update. So this week went pretty good, honestly. Ups and downs, but I'll just go with the downs at first. I, for the first time in almost 2 months, had actually felt some back pain, and it was actually during my squats. So it sort of forced me to back off a little bit. If you watch my week of or check out my Instagram at Will Development, you will see my squats from this week. I was doing singles at just 300. I wanted to go higher, but honestly, 300 was a weight I knew I could handle, and it was still pain-free and everything still stayed as tight as I wanted it to while still going through the full range of motion. So I just made an executive decision to just stay there and sort of take it easy, not push myself. It was supposed to be a restful week anyway to prepare my body for next week, which will be my 1 rep max weeks. And I've made the decision that I'm going to do another quote-unquote off-season block, going to change up some of my accessory movements, because this block has taught me a lot about where I'm weak in what and what I need to do to sort of remedy that. In that regard, I'll talk about that a little bit later, probably in this video, but whatever. So if you see it, I was doing the 300 and I took it down slow and kind of got up real slow, and then even took the bar off my back real slow, and it was just because things were getting touchy. There was no pain through the movement. It was after I got out of the movement, I was like, ooh, felt a little bit. And so I said, all right, we'll just stay here. And that's what I did. On presses, that's still going great. I was able to hit 150 for a bunch of singles, and they were easy. So well on track to hit my 175 for a strict press for a single on Tuesday, which is very exciting. And assuming I hit that, which when I hit that weight, I'm going to go for push presses and see what happens, because in the past, I've only been able to push press essentially what I'm now strict pressing. So I was hitting push presses for 160 for 3, and like last week I hit 160 for 3 on a strict press with good range of motion, and I think I only bounced. I'm a little harsher in that regard because I really want that so desperately to be a better movement for me. I believe I only kind of bounced one of the reps, so on one I came down and made sure it was a nice straight drive. Maybe I didn't lock it out all the way. I don't really worry about it too much because I know I lock out 99% of my reps. So if one of them isn't 100% locked out, I let it go, honestly. And when I came down, I stopped it here. And then I came down and I remember saying, wait a second, and I did, and then exploded off. And, it felt like I didn't bounce, but, regardless, it was still strict, so I'm counting it. And then, like I said, my 150s went off really well. I was kind of thinking about wanting to do even 155 or 160s for singles, but it was supposed to be an easier day, and it was easier, so there was that. And then deadlifts today, honestly, I felt weak all day, so I said, you know what, check the ego, lose a little pride, and just do what you got to do. So I ended up pulling 335s for singles, and they were just perfect, dead nuts, exactly what I was looking for. No pain during the movement, a little bit of pain while I was walking around today. I think part of it was sitting a lot at work this week. I do, everything I can to mitigate that, but, work is work. You got to do what you got to do, So I'm not, making excuses or blaming anything, but that's just what happened. The other thing that did happen, though, is on Saturday I had a bit of a situation. I was benching, and I wanted to go to 290, which I did, and I also still got my 275 for 3 on bench, which is right where I wanted to be back. And I went to 285, and I was like, I'm just going to do 2 singles, one at 285, and if that one goes well, I'm going to go to 290 or 295, and we'll play it by ear. And I was doing my 285, and one of the other gym members, who I don't really know that well, he was kind of just not really paying attention, and he bumped the bar while I was in the bottom, so I had the bar on my chest, and when he bumped me, I remember starting to initiate the press, and my elbow just kind of did this, and I was like, that's so weird, because I don't remember I didn't feel like I lost tension. It's just like the thing moved on its own, and I didn't know what happened. And my spotter didn't know what was happening, and it wasn't until almost 5 minutes later that we sort of were told what happened by both him and one of the gym members saw the whole damn thing happen. And he was like, "You should go for that weight again because you had it. It's just the guy bumped you." Long story short, at this point, it's too late for me to go blow up in the guy's face because, it's been 5 minutes at this point. And it's like, well, I don't want to be the asshole who comes up 5 minutes later and is, an asshole yelling at you when, at the time I was like, whatever, So I'm still kind of waiting for that shoulder to hurt, which I have had some sort of phantom pains here and there. When I put my arm in certain positions, my shoulder does hurt a little bit. So we're going to see how things go tomorrow on bench, and I did not get that 100 dumbbell. I got 90 pretty easily, I thought, and I went for, I think I just jumped to 110 because fuck you, that's why, and got it started, and it just went too far that way, and I just couldn't lock it out. So it is what it is. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I might just do some rep work for a few weeks. I'm going to be redesigning my programming this weekend for the new block. Get some new ideas for some accessory movements that I want to work in, etc. and etc. Things like on my squat, surprisingly, I'm probably going to start programming in some front squats. I need them. I feel like it's a weak area for me, and it's also something I'm not the best at. So I need to work on them, and I'm going to. So I'll program those in. Let's see, deadlifts. I definitely want to do some other back work. I had originally on this block programmed in some speed pulls after my, main pulls, and I sort of rethought that, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to keep the heavy rows, but I'm going to program them in so it's heavier weight with the pendlays, and then for the sort of moderate weighted accessory movement is probably going to be something like lat pull down, supersetted with like seated cable rows or something along those lines, just to help me with those areas because I know they are trouble for me. I know the weakness is not in my hamstrings or, right now it's in my back, both mostly my upper, but also my lower back. But, pendlay rows help with that too. They're just all around great for deadlift accessories. And I honestly, I don't know why I originally programmed them in as such a high volume thing when in my experience, which is, becoming less limited, let's put it that way, they've always been much better as a heavier movement, something to really help tax the body. So I'm going to use them that way going into this new one. And as for the presses, probably more cable extensions, something along those lines. I'd originally put in skull crushers, which I will probably keep. I will just move them from a less voluminous movement or move them from a more voluminous movement, which they are right now, to a less voluminous movement, and put in some cable things, basically something to just shove a bunch of blood into the tricep areas. And then I'm actually going to start programming in my Saturdays. Originally, they were sort of I'm going to come in and bench, that kind of thing. Where now I'm really thinking about it. I'm like, you know what, I'm going to probably do my Saturday bench as a heavier, not a heavier bench day, but as a sort of set scheme, something like, 3x5s or 4x4s, that kind of thing. And change it up every Saturday, and then do my sort of, even do my singles work on that day still, just because it's better on Saturdays for me. And then throughout the week, I'll do my volume bench day, 3 sets of 10, that kind of thing. Because as it was right now, I was doing like 3 sets of 10, and then doing, set of 5, set of 3, and then 2 singles, that kind of thing. So I'm going to just reverse those days, change it from the weekly one will be the volume day, and then the Saturday will be the less volume, heavier weight day dedicated to that. And that's my plans moving into next week. In terms of programming, like I said, it's going to be my 1 rep max days next week, and we'll go from there. Looking to do squats, something like a 350 for a good single. Deadlift, looking at somewhere in the 380s, according to the math. If I pull 385 and it's clean, I'll be happy. And then with press, should be hitting 175. Assuming I hit that, I'll see what my push press is, and I'm looking to get over 200 for the first fucking time in my life, and that would be lovely. So keep pushing, keep training, keep watching. I appreciate everybody watching. And, let me know if there's anything you want me to talk about, my experiences or just ideas. I'm open to talking to anybody. Not a desperation. That sounds kind of desperate. I didn't mean it to sound that way. But if anybody wants to leave a comment, feel free. If not, it's all good too. And everybody just work on getting stronger and getting better. And if you don't, then what's your excuse?